What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Star Wars Black Series, Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I decided to go ahead and do both of these in one video, and if you guys are interested, I'll do a video for Echo and Hawk. So let me know in the comments if that's something you want to see. But for now, we're taking a look at Annie and Obi-Wan. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the awesome boxes that these figures come in. I know it's going to be very hard for a lot of people to destroy these boxes and open up these figures, and you know, I'm right there with you. I almost want to get a second set because I really love the box art on these figures. Obviously, it's a throwback to the original Clone Wars figures that they used to put out when the series was actually going and it was new and everything. And I mean, I didn't really collect Star Wars figures at the time, so as far as nostalgia goes, this doesn't really do anything for me, but I still think they look awesome. I love the Clone Trooper helmet in the background, and I like the bubble cover, and just everything about it just looks cool and old school, and I really like it. I kind of want to get a second set. I think chances are I'm probably just going to get a second Obi-Wan and call it a day. Maybe a second Echo, we'll see. But yeah, I think the packaging on these figures looks really good. Starting off with Obi-Wan here, we have some nice looking Obi-Wan artwork on the side of the box. And then on the back, we get a little bit of information. It says 50 Lucasfilms, and then it has like a timeline of a bunch of Star Wars stuff. So that is pretty cool. And then for Anakin, we have some Anakin artwork on the side, and then the same thing on the back. And that's about it for the packaging. I mean, they're not necessarily collector friendly. I think we could open them up from the bottom and get the figures out without damaging it too much. I don't know, we'll have to see. But it's definitely a case where these aren't intended to be taken in and out of the packaging like with Marvel Legends or like imports or whatever. So if you do want to save the boxes here, you got to be very careful. But enough about these pretty boxes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figures. So for those of you that are interested in trying to save the packaging, this is the best I could do. I just cut along the bottom and I was able to rip out the tray. So yeah, I mean, like, you still kind of destroy the packaging, and it's still a hassle to get the figure in and out. I haven't even tried to put it back in. Let's see. Maybe if I like.
Oh my god!
There you go. Good as new. DM me for prices. And so here we have Anakin and Obi-Wan right out of the packaging, and I think both of these figures came out pretty good. They aren't perfect, they definitely have a couple of issues, nothing major, and I think for the most part, I'm really happy with what we have going on here. And these guys are coming out at a perfect time for me because I know I'm late to the party, but I'm just now getting into Clone Wars. I've been watching it over the past year, just an episode here and there. I think that I'm like halfway through season 3 or something, and I'm really enjoying it. And through that show, I've come to appreciate these two characters a lot more than I did before, so I'm really happy to have these versions of them. But I really wish that Hasbro would give us animation-inspired versions of these characters. I think that's what most people want, but for whatever reason, they insist on making Black Series figures look realistic. And I get it, like, that's the style of the line, it is what it is. Make another 6-inch line where they could do like animated versions of characters. I don't care what they call it, just give us 6-inch versions of animated Star Wars characters. I think that would be awesome. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this, starting off with Anakin. I think he came out really nice. There's a lot of good stuff going on with the body. I'm a little torn on Anakin's head sculpt. I think that it's a very well sculpted head. It's got a lot of nice details and all that good stuff, but I don't necessarily think that it is accurate to Anakin Skywalker. From some angles, it looks pretty good. Like if you have him looking down, you could definitely get away with a sinister looking Anakin pose. But from most angles, I don't really see Anakin in there. I'm not really sure what they were going for. It doesn't necessarily look like Hayden Christensen either, so I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a good looking head sculpt. I just don't feel like it's very accurate. So I don't know. And then moving down into the body, I think they did good with all the details on here. You can see that the robe has some nice cloth-like texture, and even the body under has some texture on there. Originally, I thought that him and Obi-Wan had the same upper torso, but it looks like they both share like the same overlay, but the clothes underneath is a little different. So that's cool that they made them different like that. And then the arms have some nice sculpting work on there. He's got his logo on the shoulder pad that looks good. And I like that we can mount the lightsaber on the belt there. That's awesome. And he does have like soft goods underneath the robe pieces here. So that kind of caught me by surprise because Obi-Wan does not have that. So Anakin does, and I think it looks pretty good, and it all blends together very well. You could see that his lightsaber fell off, but you could just, oops, almost had it the wrong way, but you could just plug it right in to the hole in the belt, and we're good to go. So that looks good.
It looked like it stayed on better the other way.
And then moving down into the legs, we have some nice sculpting work. It's a little hard to see some of the details in there, but I think they did a good job with the sculpting work on here. There's a lot of details in his boots. They kind of went crazy with it. But yeah, I think Hasbro does a great job with the look on their Black Series figures. A lot of great detail, a lot of nice sculpting work, and I think Anakin looks good. But out of the two, I like Obi-Wan much more. And, you know, like I was saying before, I didn't collect the original Clone Wars line back in the day. But I was looking at some pictures online of the Obi-Wan from that line, and he came with a jetpack, a helmet, all kinds of cool stuff. It would have been dope if this figure came with a helmet, man. That would have been awesome. And a cape. This figure would have been amazing. And I know they've already given us a Clone Commander Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the previous one is nowhere near as good as this. It looks very different for sure, but I'll bust him out in just a few minutes here. But yeah, I think this one is awesome. And again, I just wish we had an animated inspired head sculpt. I think that would be dope. I don't think I have any of the clone troopers that use this style of arm, so I was a little bit worried with the little elbow piece. And as soon as I took it out of the box, this actually came off, like it wasn't glued down all the way, which, you know, I was kind of okay with, because I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just take these things off all the way and just kind of leave them off. Like, why not? It doesn't look too bad, and then I still get some really good range when I do that. So I might end up doing that. This part is glued on, so I might have to get my knife in there or something like that just to pry it off. But yeah, what do you guys think? You know, I think like doing that doesn't necessarily mess up the whole look, and it makes the figure a little bit more fun to handle, so I might end up doing that. But anyways, I think this is a great looking figure, and Black Series has already given us a bunch of really good looking Obi-Wan head sculpts, and I would say that this is probably the best of the bunch. So they did a really good job with it, and I love what we have going on here. The beard looks really good, the hair looks good, and yeah, they nailed it. Look at that. Damn. Look around the eyes too. We've got some nice detail on there too. Damn, this is a good looking head sculpt. The more I look at it, the more impressed I am.
Would you just notice all of that right now?
Damn, this looks really good. And then moving down into the body, we have the clone armor. We have the Jedi Order logo on the shoulder pad, which is nice. And one thing that kind of threw me off about this figure is that I'm like a little torn. Like, I don't like the way this looks right here. I wish that the white went all the way over this piece, all the way down to the robe, you know, but instead there's a little bit of brown on the armor piece, so that kind of sucks. But if you're looking at it straight on, you can't even notice it, so it's fine. And the robe does have some nice texture. Same thing down here. All of this looks really good. We do have the elbow pads here that look pretty good, but you know, like I was saying before, I might end up just taking those off, because I'm afraid I might damage them when I'm bending the arm. But they look nice. The arm looks good. On this side, we got a little bit of details here. And then moving down into the lower half of the figure, this looks nice. We've got the clone trooper armor on the legs. And yeah, this is a really good looking figure. So they did a great job, especially on the head sculpt. Damn, that looks nice. And in the accessories department, both of these figures are pretty weak. They pretty much only come with their lightsabers. I really wish that they came with the same accessories that the 3 3/4 inch figures came with. I think that would have been awesome, especially for Obi-Wan. If he would have had the helmet and the jetpack, that would have been really dope. And if they didn't want to give us those accessories, I really wish they would have given us extra hands, but that's not a problem specific to these figures. That's a problem with the whole Black Series line. They really need to start giving us extra hands with these figures. It would definitely take them to the next level. And for some quick size comparisons, we have Anakin and Obi-Wan alongside my favorite Jedi, Plo Koon, and another awesome Jedi, Kit Fisto. And I would love to see Clone Wars versions of these two figures, especially Plo Koon. It seems like they don't really have to do all that much. So hopefully they get around to doing that. But I do think all these figures look really cool together. And for some more Clone Wars action, here we have Anakin and Obi-Wan alongside the Black Series Ahsoka and the Black Series Cad Bane. And again, I think all these figures look awesome together. And next up, we have them alongside a Black Series Clone Trooper and a Black Series Stormtrooper. And then next up, we have them alongside the Black Series Jango Fett and the Black Series Clone Commander Obi-Wan. And man, that Obi-Wan figure has a really good head sculpt too, even though it's a couple years old. And then here we have them alongside the Black Series Comic Legends Darth Maul and the Black Series Jar Jar Binks. And as usual, here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And Black Series figures aren't necessarily known for their articulation, but I would say that both of these figures have a pretty good amount. They have a lot of the new things that we've seen on a lot of Black Series figures, so I'm pretty happy with it. But let's go ahead and take a look, starting off with Anakin. So first off, the head does move side to side. We get some really nice tilt because we have the new neck style where we have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck. So using both of those, he can tilt his head quite a bit. He could look up to about right there, which is pretty nice. And then it could look down to right there, which is even better. So that's good stuff there. And then for the torso, we just have a ball joint at the waist. So we are able to twist like that. It could kind of go to the side to about right there. I wish they would kind of work on the waist joints that they use on the Jedi figures. Because, I mean, I think that if they put some work into it, they could get a little bit more out of it. I almost want to pop one of these guys apart and see if I can improve the articulation a little bit. But as it is right now, it only goes to the side to about right there. Comes back to about right there, and then goes forward to right there. So not a whole lot, but it's a little bit of movement, you know, it's all good. But I feel like Hasbro could give us a little bit more at that joint. And then for the arm, they do go all the way around. The shoulder pad is on a separate piece of plastic, so it just moves out of the way if you need it to. Or just kind of stays in place. Like, you don't have to move it along with the arm. You can if you want, but you don't have to. So that's good stuff. And then the arms do come out to the side to about right there. And then he does have the butterfly joint at the shoulder, which is nice. No upper bicep swivel. He gets his swivel from the elbow. And he does have single jointed elbows. And these do not get very good range. A little bit more than 90. It's kind of weak. They've come a long way with single jointed elbows on Star Wars figures, and I feel like they could have got a little bit more out of this. And then at the wrist, we do have a swivel and a hinge. For the legs, they kick out to the side only to about right there because his skirt pieces kind of get in the way. He has upper thigh swivel. He can kick forward to right there. The kick forward is pretty good, actually. So that's not too bad. Can't really kick back all that much. Only kicks back to right there. And then, like I said, upper thigh swivel. Double jointed knee. Gets a pretty good bend, but there's just a lot going on here. So, you know, it's kind of, there's things that are in the way, but the knees do bend a really good amount. For the feet, there's no swivel, but we do have rocking ankles, and they go forward to there, come up to there. So, like I said, articulation is pretty good on Anakin. This head and neck setup really does a lot for the overall articulation. Like, there's definitely a lot of limitations, but this head and neck setup kind of makes up for a lot of it. And it really allows you to do a lot more than you would if it was just like a ball joint at the head, you know. So I always enjoy that. I really do wish we got a little bit more out of the torso and the elbows, but aside from that, I'm pretty happy with what we have going on for Anakin. And Obi-Wan does have a very similar articulation setup. There's a couple of small differences, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. But let's go ahead and take a very quick look anyways. The head and neck is on the same type of joint as Anakin, which means we get a bunch of really nice head movement, as you could see there. Woo! And then he gets some really good tilt side to side. He can look left to right. He can look up to about right there, which is pretty impressive. And then it looks down to right there. Torso joint is the same. We have a ball joint at the waist, which means we get a little bit of side to side, and it seems like he may get a little bit more at the waist because he doesn't have the cloth piece in there kind of hindering things just a little bit. So Obi-Wan does get a little bit more out of the ball joint at the waist, but I feel like they can work on that and give us even more if they open up that hole a little bit. But yeah, I might have to do that on this Obi-Wan figure. We'll see. But I do like the way this looks, like, you know, it doesn't break up the articulation of the torso. And it can get pretty good movement if they work on it, you know. Like, I think they kind of mastered it with Marvel Legends Doctor Doom and Marvel Legends Kang. So, I feel like they could work on it and do a little bit more in the Black Series. But anyway, onto the arms. He does have butterfly jointed shoulders. His arms do go all the way around. It's a little tighter over here with his shoulder pad, but you're still able to do it. You could bring his arms out to the side And you definitely have to be mindful of what's going on with the shoulder pad when you're moving his arms up. So be very careful there. But after messing with it a little bit, you can get his arms to come out to the side to about right there. No upper bicep swivel, obviously, but he does have a swivel at the single jointed elbow. And the elbows are a little hindered because of the little elbow pad that he has in here. So you might want to try to shift that around before you get too crazy with the elbow piece here. But what I was doing is kind of moving it up a little bit, and then that way when you bend the elbow, it doesn't pinch it so much and like damage it, you know. So there we go. And then like I said, he does have a swivel at the elbow. He has a swivel at the wrist and then a hinge, and then on this side he has a swivel and then a vertical hinge, which Anakin should have had the same thing, but he did not, so that sucks. And then for the legs, kicks forward only to about right there because this all gets in the way, goes back only to right there, comes out to the side a really good amount. Check that out. Then he has upper thigh swivel. He has a single jointed knee, which is also different from Anakin. So he's got a single jointed knee, which bends to about right there. And then it has a swivel. And then, you know, you do have this like knee pad that kind of gets in the way a little bit. So you want to be careful with that. And then at the foot, we have rocking ankles. And then they also come out to right there, come up to right there. Whoa, this comes up a pretty good amount considering he has this armor on. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, you know, not the most articulation ever on these figures, but, you know, I would say they're definitely fun to handle and play with. I really like the articulation on Obi-Wan. The only thing that kind of worries me is the knee pads and the elbow pads. You definitely have to be careful when messing around with him because of those things. But aside from those, I think the articulation is pretty nice on him, so I'm happy with it. Alright, so overall, even though these figures are far from perfect, I still like them a lot. I think that Hasbro did a pretty good job on both of them, especially Obi-Wan. He's definitely my favorite out of the two. I love this outfit for the character. The figure's fun to play with, and he just looks super dope. Anakin is nice too, but something about him just kind of throws it off. I think it's the head sculpt, but I think it's a cool figure. He's fun to mess around with, and he definitely does the job. So I am happy with them, but they both suffer from the lack of accessories, and I really wish that would change in Black Series. Just simple stuff like extra hands would take these figures to another level. Like, I mean, if Obi-Wan had an open force hand, I wouldn't be able to put this figure down. I'd be messing with it all the time. I would, you know, it would jump up a bunch of levels than it is right now. I think it's a dope figure right now, and I wouldn't even like argue if someone said this was like a top 10 figure of the year. But for me, I don't know if it's quite there. If he had extra hands and, you know, the helmet that I mentioned before, and if they just decked him out with accessories, then he had the potential to be up there for me. As it is right now, I think it's a great figure, and as I make little modifications, I know that I'm gonna like him more and more. So, you know, it is what it is, but I really wish that would change for Hasbro, and I wish they would start putting in more accessories, and I also wish that they would give us a full line of figures based on the animation style from Clone Wars and Rebels and now Bad Batch. I think that would be dope, and if they gave us a line of that kind of stuff, it would look really cool along with other Star Wars figures, but it would also look unique and different and kind of separate itself from all the other Star Wars figures we have out there, because out of all the companies that do 6-inch Star Wars figures, all of them do figures based on like real life actors and stuff like that, you know, live action movies. Nobody really does anything specifically based on the Star Wars animated shows or movies or anything like that. So I really hope that Hasbro changes that and gives us a full line of figures based on the animated shows. I think that would be awesome. But as it is right now, this is what we have, and I'm happy to have them, but I'm still left feeling a little unsatisfied, you know? But it is what it is, and with that, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.